Deep in the fine print of every major global contract, there is a ghost clause. It sits there for years, unnoticed, gathering dust. It's called force majeure. Translated from French, it means superior force. It is the legal get-out-of-jail-free card for when the world literally catches fire. Right now, in the Persian Gulf, that ghost is waking up, and it's about to walk straight into your bank account. Most people think a war in the Middle East is something that happens over there. They see the headlines about tankers and missiles and think it's a tragedy, but not a personal one. They're wrong. Because when a shipping giant or an oil conglomerate declares force majeure, they are effectively saying the rules of the global economy no longer apply. Here is how the machine breaks down. The modern world runs on just-in-time logistics. We don't keep big warehouses of parts or food anymore. We keep them on ships. Those ships are the moving conveyor belt of our lives. But that conveyor belt is held together by contracts. If a company promises to deliver 500,000 barrels of oil or 10,000 tons of grain, they have to do it. If they don't, they pay massive penalties. Unless a missile flies. The moment force majeure is triggered in the Strait of Hormuz, the legal liability vanishes. The oil doesn't show up, the components for your company's latest product don't arrive, but the bills still do. Here is the uncomfortable math. When supply stops, but the contract is canceled by act of God, the cost doesn't just disappear, it gets pushed downstream to your employer. If your company's energy costs double overnight because the cheap oil is stuck behind a blockade, their profit margin evaporates. When margins evaporate, the Human Resources Department starts looking at the biggest line item on the spreadsheet, the payroll. It's the ultimate irony of the 21st century. You could be a graphic designer in Chicago or a coder in Berlin, thinking you have nothing to do with global shipping lanes, but your cost of living adjustment just got eaten by a maritime legal clause triggered 5,000 miles away. The hype tells us we live in a resilient digital age where we can work from anywhere. The reality is that we are still carbon-based creatures living in a physical world. If the physical world stops moving through that 21-mile gap in the Gulf, the digital world can't pay its bills. We're seeing the superior force move from the battlefield to the boardroom. Insurance rates are vertical, shipping routes are being redrawn, and companies are quietly preparing contingency plans that rarely involve giving you a raise. So, as you watch the news tonight, don't just look at the explosions, look at the fine print. We've spent 30 years building a global system that rewards efficiency above all else. We traded safety for speed. Now that the superior force has arrived, we have to ask ourselves, was the cheap bread and the fast shipping worth a paycheck that can be held hostage by a ghost clause? How much of your financial security is actually just a temporary favor from a calm sea?